Well, the franchise industry says it's on track to respond to President Cyril Ramaphosa's call to create more jobs. International franchisors are largely still impressed with the progress made in South Africa despite the current economic climate. Richard McIver is the CEO of franchisor Cash Converters. He joins us now via Skype. Richard, you wrote an opinion piece of how the franchise industry can contribute to creating jobs. Give us three of your top ideas.
Evening, Shahan, and thank you for the opportunity. I think the first one has to do with funding. The biggest challenge getting franchises opened is effectively getting funding models in place that make some sense and facilitate the opening of stores. The second has to do with finding the right franchisee for the particular franchise model. So franchising is all about a proven business model and use of a brand. And really what one needs to do is match the particular franchisee with that particular brand and model. And then finally, if you're talking about retail franchising, it's about finding the right sites. Particularly difficult situation. You've got to match again the model with the correct site, and you've got to get the right commercials happening. That is tough in today's economic environment because rentals are increasing on an annual basis. You find the electricity prices going up significantly, and effectively costs are something that are a really big problem to manage and control.
So buying into a franchise comes at a pretty penny, as you mentioned. It's obviously not for everyone. Ever consider dropping the price so that more people can actually buy in?
I think I would respond by saying that it's more about pitching the franchise owner or potential franchisee with the right model depending on the investment levels. So, if you're wanting a top-end quick service restaurant like an international brand, etc., you're going to pay top end. And the reason you're paying top end is because you're buying into a proven business model that effectively allows you to lower your risk of failure. Whether you're operating in that top end business model or whether you're operating in let's say a local, smaller, as an example, service industry like a multi-service shoe cobbler or something like that, the business models effectively at a level of principle are the same. You've still got to manage staff, you've still got to provide a service, you've still got to understand cash flow and pay rent, etc., etc. So I always say to prospective franchisees, if you can't afford a model that you're looking at, then look at a model that may well cost less because you're going to learn the same basic skills of running a business. Once you've been successful at that level and made some money, then you can move into the next investment level.
Yeah, makes sense. You also responded to the Youth Employment Service launched in June this year. Tell us how.
So what we did with that was that being in a retail franchise in Cash Converters, one of our biggest assets is our stock, and we need to clearly count and control that on a regular basis. So we created stock take teams from the pool of young South Africans and provided them with the opportunity of stock taking in our different stores. Those teams would go around the stores, learn the skills of stock taking as a first job effectively, and as a consequence of that, a couple of them have been offered jobs in our stores and are now working as either junior salespeople or in other roles within the organization, and have started climbing the rungs of being commercially viable and active.
Yeah. Now, you obviously heeded the President's call for businesses to contribute to job creation and economic growth. Why aren't more companies playing their part? What stops them? Losses in profit or pure laziness?
No, I don't think it's to do with pure laziness. I think it's to do with situations that may well not be within people's control. We sit in a very, very difficult situation internationally and specifically in South Africa at the moment. From an economic point of view, we're in a recession. From a political point of view, things are tough. And it's very, very difficult to get people to be prepared to effectively invest their life savings into a new business. Once you find that person, then the next step in the process is to fund their expansion and initialization of that business. And as things are tough at this stage of the game, the banks are requiring more and more equity, and it becomes more and more difficult. Having said that, I always say to people, if people are saying no to you and closing doors, just knock on enough of them and one of them will open. So it's about being determined, it's about being focused, it's about finding the right niche and getting out there and effectively just doing it.
All right, thank you so much for your time and your insight. We do appreciate it. That was Richard Mukaiba from Cash Convert.